All right, we are moving our way through the Scrum theory portion of the Scrum guide. And remember, in our last video, we talked about empiricism and lean thinking. Everything in Scrum is about creating transparency so that the team and its stakeholders can inspect what they're doing and then adapt so that they can make an awesome product and make customers happy, make employees happy, and generate some revenue as well, or some value if we are in a non-profit context. And in this video and a few next videos, we're going to look at how does Scrum practically do that, and it does it by employing an iterative and incremental approach that helps us optimize predictability and control risk. So we're going to look at, for a few videos, what does iterative and incremental really mean? And to help us understand it, we're actually going to think about what does it not mean first, and how is it different than maybe something that's more traditional. So let's think through that first. So let's imagine we get together as a company and we think, hey, we think we have an awesome idea. Let's create this thing. We think it would do great in the market. All right. And then we're like, okay, well, let's do it. Let's think about how we would do it. And then we think through each phase. Okay, we need to design it. We need to code it. We need to test it to make sure it's quality. And then we need to ship it with our operation guys or ladies. And then we think through, okay, this will probably take a month of designing, coding, maybe 3 months. Okay, oversimplifying here. This will take a month. And then operations, right, that'll take a month as well. And then we will have this beautiful product, right? But it sounds pretty good to me. And then how does this work? All right, so once the design team finishes, they give it to the coding team. And once the coding team finishes, they give it to the testing team. And once operations finishes, they ship it, and then voila, hopefully everyone's happy. But the problem is, what if once we make this, customers are like, what is that? What were they thinking? That is horrible. No. What I really want as a customer, I want this thing. I want it to look like this. And maybe, we got some purple in here or something. And we want our product. What I really want, what would be valuable to me as a customer, would be this thing, right? And so what do we have here? We have waste. We have 6 months of working on a hypothesis, right? This is only an assumption. It's only a hypothesis that they think this thing is valuable. But once they actually created it and made it, no, customers said, no, we want this thing instead. So we just wasted 6 months of work doing this. That's a huge amount of risk. Working for 6 months on this assumption, right? That's a huge risk. And in this instance, it resulted in waste. And this actually happens, guys. And that's the problem with thinking through projects and doing this kind of all upfront planning at a time and then having just one big release at the end. And Scrum instead does things iteratively and incrementally, and in our next videos, we will talk more about what that looks like. But real quick, I just want to say that this isn't all bad, right? Let's remember the Cynefin framework. All right, if we are in the complex domain where more is unknown than known, right? In this instance, hey, we don't know what customers really want. It would be better for them to know, hey, is this really what they want? Right, this is a hypothesis, and then they have to test that hypothesis quickly and validate it. So in the complex domain, thinking through making products like this is a horrible way to do it because it could result in this waste. But if we're doing something simple like washing a car and we think, okay, 5 minutes, get my supplies, 20 minutes, scrub it down, 5 minutes, hose it, 15 minutes, it's going to dry off in the sun, boom. That's simple. That's easy. It can easily flow, and we're probably going to get it right. And maybe even the complicated domain, if we have experts, right, who really know what they're doing and can advise us really well, we might get, fairly close to this, staying within scope, our timeline, and our budget. But the problem with this is that it doesn't work with making products. It doesn't work because we don't know how long things are going to take. Is it going to take 3 months, or is it going to take 6 months? Right? We don't know because we haven't gotten our feet wet in it, and because knowledge work is complex, we don't always know how long it's going to take to make it or design it. And also, we don't know if customers are going to really want it. So through a more iterative and incremental approach, and we'll talk more about what that looks like in our next videos, we can really reduce our risk of creating this waste and help really create more predictability and delivering what customers truly want so that they can be happy, we can be happy, and we can generate some revenue as a company. So hope this helps. Remember, this isn't all bad, but oftentimes in a complex domain where a lot of knowledge work is, designing everything up front, planning everything up front is really risky and could potentially result in a huge flop in the market, which is extremely wasteful, and we want to avoid that. So, and Scrum helps us do that through its iterative and incremental approach, and we will talk more about what that looks like in the next video. Thanks, guys.